No arms, but she got a mouth. What that mouth do?
You know what? Now you
In the name of Jesus.
Okay,
that's real interesting.
Nah, fact.
Like, yo, I got Holy Baby all the time.
yes.
And I just saw someone on Instagram with no legs, and she had 4 kids for her husband. She has no legs, and she's on 4 babies.
Shit.
Oh, so when you said that,
on the body with the little strap
But I gotta put it in there.
You gonna put her in that shit?
Well, putting her in that is crazy.
The hoes gon' love this.
Alright, so before we get into the deep questions, because Sam, you asked a very deep question. I don't want to start off with that.
I was trying to get, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I don't want to start off with that.
Yeah.
So I am going to ask y'all a little fun, little simple question. What's the pettiest reason you cut somebody off?
Ooh.
I gotta think about that.
Anybody, jump in.
This man, the way he talked, like I was talking to him on the phone one day, and he was like, "Ooh, mama, you look Bexy." He was like, "That's cringe."
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Exactly. So he had to go. Boo.
Yeah, mine is similar. The accent, I couldn't. The person had like a very strong accent, and I just couldn't take him serious. I just couldn't do it.
So okay, that's interesting. So we cut people off because of their tone and accent.
It just was something I couldn't get past.
Why not?
It was too distracting, huh?
What if you had his accent? Would you want to be accepted by somebody else?
I would want someone who loved my accent.
Right.
And I thought to myself, like, why would I be with somebody if that's something that's going to bother me? I want them to be with someone that wants them.
Okay.
If someone meets me and my accent, it weirds them out,
Right.
even though I don't technically have one.
It's-
You're American.
Right. Despite his accent, was he a good guy though?
There were some issues.
Like what?
They weren't really in a good place in their life, I'll say that.
We talking about finances?
Everything.
Oh, you're trying to get deep,
Right.
We potting right now.
He want to know.
Okay. All right.
Distance, finances,
Okay.
and just like mentality. Also, I also felt like I'm starting to see some signs that like maybe our mentality doesn't match, but this accent is just the petty reason. Like if I'm making a list, the accent, the this, the that, like.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just
I'm
that.
gonna be your friend. I don't like an accent either.
Yeah, me.
I
hate
the
an
accent.
accent. Like,
Me too.
And that's the
unless you
weirdest
like
thing.
Idris Elba or something.
Do you
like that.
fetishize accents?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It just depends on the
Nobody
tone
gets into about
of
it.
voice,
Okay.
not so much. But if you got an accent and then your voice kind of high at the same time, and it's just too many things
Yeah, I know
mixing in the
what you mean.
cockpit. But I do like an accent.
Okay.
It just depends.
Ameenah, you cut your dude off because he said Bexy.
Yeah, that's
But
weird.
was he blood or he was a gay?
No, he wasn't nothing. He worked at the post
Trying to be
office.
cool.
Just
Post
cringe.
office.
Nothing wrong with
Cringe.
post office. Yeah, no.
That's not wrong with it, but like, why? Just the way he was talking, I couldn't deal with it.
Okay.
Like his entire vernacular was just
Yeah,
you
like I
like
feel like it's
my-
more feminine. Like my mom, like
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be talking to me like that. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Understandable.
Right.
Hold on, y'all didn't answer.
They're digging into
Right,
our
like, what's
situation.
Podcast.
Like, what is happening?
He's scratching the surface. We ain't really digging.
So what's the pettiest for
I'm
y'all?
gonna be honest. I don't think I've ever cut anybody for pettiness. I think everything I did was really important.
Legit.
Like I could deal with a lot of stuff.
Could
Yeah.
He trying to go viral.
Right.
No.
Oh my God, I
Deal
love
with a lot of stuff.
him.
What's
Like,
the worst?
he is
What's the
so
worst thing you
sweet.
They gonna
overlooked
try to test you
that
next.
you say you
They
can
gonna
deal
love
with?
him in the comments.
Lazy
Right.
eye.
You overlooked the lazy eye. You
Well,
overlooked-
Which is
Love
real.
flaw.
Which is
Nah,
real.
that's kind of crazy. A lazy eye.
Listen,
But-
because it also made conversations a little awkward, mainly because
she wouldn't look
I don't
you
know if
in
it
the
was a
eye.
lazy
Right.
eye.
The
It
eye
just
was
always
wandering.
dropped, but it was never, hey, I have, this difficulty with my eyes. So you didn't acknowledge it. I ain't want to bring it up. So now I'm like, I'm uncomfortable
elephant
because I don't
room.
want to ask and be wrong. And I should have been, but whatever. I was just like, I can't. So now I'm just looking at the basketball game, which
Yeah.
then turns into you not paying attention to me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, this date not going the way I need it to go. So I'm just kind of.
What you be at the who me? You talking to me? Because I be doing that.
No, I just was like, stop. Like, okay.
So you didn't want to ask her about what's going on with what happened. And you know what's so funny? That people do that with my scar.
Okay.
Like they be like hesitant, like, what happened to your scar. So I like to make up stories about it, like, oh, I was in a gang and I got jumped.
Oh,
nah, that's crazy.
You just lying on your first date.
Like somebody called me Christena throughout the whole high school
Christena.
off that one line. I'm like,
Crazy.
damn. But yeah, like it's awkward. Like it's okay. Ask and be open.
I mean, I led with questions and like, tell me about yourself. Like, I would think like, hey, I have this difficulty. So it made it seem like she wasn't comfortable, or hear me out, she didn't know she had a lazy eye problem.
You know you got a lazy eye. She can have me every day.
She knew somebody back in the day
Somebody had to
called
tell
her.
She
Right.
was
No,
insecure
Leslie with
about
the
it,
lazy
right?
eye.
Right.
I'm just it's a possibility.
Yeah.
She might
Somebody
not
brought it
know.
up.
Someone
She know
said
that
something.
lazy. She knows.
Let me ask you a question, right? Have you ever met a girl who checked off all your boxes, but you cut her off because she didn't fit your physical preferences?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
What about you? Because you,
Yeah.
cause you the
Yeah, in the past, my preferences used to be a lot
Oh.
more shallow. Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you
Absolutely.
still that way?
Nah.
What made you overcome that? Like how did you?
You grow and you mature and you start
Yeah.
to realize, wait, hold on, well, am I fetishizing a certain
type of woman.
I was gonna say that
ethnicity
too.
and all that? Is you start to grow out of that.
So, was there a situation or something that sparked you to overcome that
Absolutely not.
mentality?
I
Or
think
just
once I
time?
dove deeper into learning my true self, that's what I just grew out of that mentality.
Yeah.
Because you think that's normal. Like
Yeah.
I'm only dating light skinned women, man. That's, you know what I'm saying? But that's
And that's
very
I feel like I've been through that too.
being a colorist, and that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, she ain't Spanish, I don't want it. Like,
Mhm.
nah, it's-
Well, at least you can acknowledge that.
oh, absolutely.
At least
a lot
you're
of men,
honest. They
yeah.
don't want to say,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's."
they want
I love the. It's just my preference.
Nah.
It's just my
A
preference.
lot of our preferences are very shallow. I ain't gonna
Right,
lie.
and it's not.
You know what's interesting about that? Like, what I've noticed with women, I'm not trying to be gender specific, right? A lot of women be like, oh, I need a man who's 6 feet, got a beard, drive, no kids, et cetera, right? And he got to be dark skinned, right? And here's the crazy thing, right? They'll get hurt by this man.
Of course.
And then now there's this stereotype. Oh, girl, you dating a 6 feet dude with a... Now it's a stereotype. Oh, we gonna hurt you. Like, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't apply to every man because of your experience.
But I can say that them little short men, they be having anger issues.
Short king.
Little angry
Everybody has anger issues. That's
We
like,
do,
so
but
have you ever read your horoscope? 'Cause what sign are you?
I'm a Taurus.
Torres.
So
Right.
with the horoscopes, you'll read and be like, it'll say, "Oh, you're so passionate." Isn't everybody passionate?
Yeah. That's why I don't really
It's
take
vague.
horoscope to her.
Exactly.
I don't really feed into that.
It's demonic too, but we'll
Yeah,
talk.
nah,
That's for,
it
ano-
is.
I didn't
that's for
wanna
another
say
episode.
anything.
That's for
You're
another
right,
episode.
that's
I didn't
right,
want to
you're right.
say
That's for another
anything,
episode. You know what I'm
but
saying?
I don't really read into it too much.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, I do read it, but I also know how to separate it because, like, it is demonic, and I feel like it just
I
be very
believe that
vague. Like, I
strongly.
can't.
Why are you shocked?
So question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know the moon gravitational pull affects the ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think that a positioning of the moon could affect you as an individual
Yeah,
as it
definitely
pertains
can.
to
Absolutely not.
how
But
you
No.
I feel like the moon affects humans and like our whatever
You know,
how Earth is, but I
December's
don't
the
think
most-
like with anything with horoscopes though.
I'm just saying, December is the highest peak where people feel depressed, down.
Yeah.
And that's for
And-
reasons of there being less sunlight. It's simple.
Agreed.
So that's what I'm
It's
saying,
during
sunlight.
that time period is why you have so many holidays,
Yeah, no,
right? That wasn't by accident.
No, I didn't say it was by accident.
No, but I'm just saying that the reason why people will get seasonal affective disorder is because there's simply less sunlight during that time frame. So if you notice it historically, there are more gatherings, and wintertime kind of is supposed to be the time where you come together because that helps to reduce the feelings of depression due to the lack of sunlight.
Agreed.
You're supposed to gather more often during those periods.
Agreed.
And that has nothing to do with the sun, the moon, and the stars coming together and
So
like
question, if you're saying that during that time there's less sun,
Mhm.
that means sun is absent of a particular time.
Mhm.
So if you reinstate the sun, then it changes their mood.
It changes because you're able to go, because obviously the sun has like scientifically speaking, I'm not saying the moon doesn't have pull. What I'm saying is it's not only scientific, but it's also situational in that because there is less sun, we're outside less. And just being outside and getting fresh air in general,
Yeah.
sun or not, it
100%.
makes you feel more purposeful. But gathering and being a part of, congregating, that's what's supposed to give us back our purpose during the winter months. But many people in this society, we're very individualistic, so we don't really engage, especially in America.
What's the label we
social
put on
media.
it? introverts, homebodies.
Right, I'm a
Not
homebody.
knowing
I'm
like
an
you're a
introvert.
functioning depressed
person.
It's because I blame social media for distracting us from outside life. We too engaged in the phone.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't know how to like have in-person communication.
And once you're deep in it, it's hard to unplug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because all the videos that we consume all day will start to alter your brain's chemistry, not realizing.
Can we get into social media and dating though, for real? Or did you have a question about that? Cause
Yeah, we can get into social media. And
because
that brings me to my next question. But wait, before I move on, you didn't say what was the pettiest reason. Like, I did
we're
not
still
forget
waiting
it.
for you. He said he's lazy.
I did not want to forget. Right, like we didn't forget.
No, I didn't say that. I said if you
I can't
broke up
necessarily,
with
I can't necessarily think of one. We'll go with
You
hygiene.
tryna
We'll
do-
go hygiene. We'll do hygiene. Hygiene. We'll just
That's
keep
not
it shit.
petty. That's very much reasonable.
Yeah,
Like,
that
why
is.
are you dirty and stinking?
It could have been an off day.
Oh, so you're talking about the
It was
amount
just
of
a
time.
one-time
thing.
Okay, now
Yeah,
that
but that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one time
You
thing.
can smell yourself. But some
Where,
people
what was
probably,
the situation?
Come on now.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, were y'all coming from somewhere and
Nah.
like
Intercourse?
you were in the
Nah.
house and she should have been good to go? Like y'all were just
I want to
Netflix
go
and
pick this
chilling
person up.
from her
Come back.
house.
Yeah,
Was it
come back to the-
strong?
Strong.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I mean,
he said
through
strong.
the
Like,
through the jeans, it was
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay,
crazy.
where she was home the whole time.
yeah.
No, that's
That's a
Ooh.
problem. See, now if y'all were out and about, and I can give some
And she was
grace there.
sweating, right?
Right, because you're walking up and down, whatever. But if you've been home, sis,
Yeah.
you've been home,
Yeah.
you know that man
And
coming.
don't
I
get me
know.
wrong. I
Go
can
ahead,
handle
go
Go
a
take a
Twin.
little
twin.
bath in the
I
bathroom.
can
That
handle
means her
a
pH
twin,
balance
but
might
that
have been
was-
off.
She needs water.
She got some work. That's it.
She
No,
needs
I can't
water.
handle that, but
It
She
could be
needs
a
water.
multitude of things. You gotta
Water
say.
will change your life, ladies. 1 gallon of water with a little lemon every day.
All right, so that brings me to my question, what you were saying about social media. So, when you're on Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, how do you go about shooting your shot?
ooh, like a little picture here and there, like 3 pictures.
You like the
maybe
pictures and you
5.
should know.
And right. No, I'm gonna like 1 picture. See what you do. If you like some pictures back,
I'm gonna do
I'm gonna
3.
do a picture.
I'm
Just
gonna be
one?
happy.
That's
I'm
do
gonna like
3 or 4.
start it off slow. I'm gonna scope the scenery out. You know what they said. I'm gonna like one, see what
And
you
then
do. You like mama, like yours back, and I'm gonna just wait for you to approach me though.
what's the success rate on that?
It worked. It might take a couple of
Give me a
days.
percentage.
I didn't do it
90% of
as
the
many
time?
times, but I feel like maybe like 90% of the time out of all the times
Oh,
I did
excuse
it.
me. So it's just like
Yeah.
one photo, and they notice it. Now they just
They might not notice it at first, but like you like a photo, like I feel like they already kind of be liking my stuff first. But I was like, like
that's a
they might
difference.
like, yeah.
That's a difference.
No, that low key work because my best friend, what she does to shoot her shot, she'll go to your Instagram page and she'll literally like the first picture you ever posted.
Exactly.
Like she'll
That's
scroll
what I'm saying.
all the way down
That's
and
so
like the
smart.
first
You gotta do
one.
stuff like that.
Hold on,
When
let's
you
go.
do no, but when you
True.
do that, it's kind of like, oh, she was on my page. Like,
Right.
she's trying to get my attention.
And you gotta
That's
do
smart.
it too, not when they just upload a picture and everybody and they like. You
Right.
gotta do like on a late night, I don't
So
know,
it's
like a
tactical.
random day, they ain't got nothing else.
Right.
Like
This
this
Because
is-
if she liking my
listen, I'm
picture from
learning.
2017, that
Right.
means
I'm
something.
learning.
Like,
they gonna come back, look at your page like,
That's
who
a man
this?
who needs that
I'm learning.
validation. You in my pictures from 2017, something wrong with you. I ain't gonna lie.
no, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I
one.
did.
It's just
I
one.
think it gives stalkerish if I'm going down that far.
I think
Nah,
we
I don't be
also
having have pictures for them.
might have to account, right? I think a lot of people use this tactic, so then it became a thing that's known, like a social norm for social media. Like
That's
if
true.
that person scrolled down and liked a pic from months ago, that's them shooting their shot without having to seem like, oh, this motherfucker's riding. So I think it became a social. Now again, it definitely can also come off like, yo, you bugging, bro. Like you could have just said something. You ain't have to go all the way down. So, but then that becomes how people.
How do you say, like what she asked, like how do you, especially as a woman, nowadays, back in the days you could throw a little joke and it would be okay, but nowadays with the population,
What type of joke?
I don't know.
What type of joke?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm just saying, like, or you'll comment on someone's story, like, that you've never spoken to before, and it will be cool, and that would be a good little starter-upper. But nowadays, it's just like, you got to beware of the sass. You got to beware, because then after that, you become the
Oh, he
leader.
ain't like that sassy
You
comment.
Yeah, I was about to say for a
He
second,
ain't like
like,
that sassy
assassin.
comment.
You
Yeah.
started off
You
being
look
the
at them
person
like
that is the leader in the situation, and that's it. You put yourself in a hole. Now he's expecting good morning, beautiful, and
Oh no,
grand
I
rising
don't,
from you.
I don't do that. I'm sorry. Like if you don't catch me, you don't hit me up. Down to tell you. But can we get into like how I feel like social media did has a part to play in us not having interaction in person, because
Absolutely.
you have to go to a party and like
It's
the
here.
dudes would be on their
It's
phone. I
here.
can't nobody know. As soon as you get home, oh, I seen you tonight.
Mad weird.
You couldn't say nothing while you see me there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Weird. Like, I
The,
can't.
the initiative to talk to people, just in general.
Right. So it's hard to even tell who's into you nowadays. People don't give that eye contact. Like, they don't approach you.
You know, that's a cycle that's going to continue to repeat itself, right?
Yeah.
Look at the kids during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
In the home all day. Do you see kids outside playing
No, not anymore.
We used
the blocks used to be hot.
We used to be outside playing manhunt, playing free fall. You don't see kids outside anymore. They're being sheltered behind these iPads. They don't know how to interact with other kids and socially awkward.
No, it's so funny you say that because I work at a high school, right? And some of the students would have like community beef. They'd be like, okay, spring break. They would spend the whole spring break not outside fighting each other, just to come back to school. I'm like, yo, y'all had a whole bunch of time to resolve whatever issues you had. Yeah, what was y'all doing? I was in the house. Like, the whole spring break.
Yeah, kids, they different.
I'm like, ooh.
It started off with I think everyone here is a millennial, right?
Some part of the scope in the front. Back there.
Right.
It started off with us in the beginnings, like IMing each other and, oh, did you see their IM status? It started, so we were just at the peak of it as we got into high school. But now it's just like that's.
Did you see how much it changed? Everybody had a MySpace, right?
Oh yeah,
everyone.
You were so excited to go home and talk to people.
But that's the thing. Now it's like if you're gonna beef on MySpace, then you're gonna fight in school.
Right.
You put up a weird status, we're meeting up. We're going down the street. We're gonna go in front of McDonald's next to Target.
So that's where you get it popping?
I never fought. I was a
Oh, you just knew where it was at. Okay, say less.
But I knew where to head.
Got you.
But I'd rather them just beef it out than fight the fair one. Like, that's not there anymore. So I'm not condoning violence in any way or form.
That's right.
Social media is also easy, more access for like more relationship problems. By the way,
that's true.
Like what?
Oh my goodness!
You mean like the girls, the BBL pictures? Social media problems. I feel like it's so much easy access for men to see like women with their boobs out, butts out. Like it's so men are able to lust more.
That's what it is.
You know, their mind is able to wander more, and they're able to like cheat more.
Okay,
Easy
I agree.
access. Yeah.
Cheat more. I didn't even hear that part.
Yeah, cheat more. I feel like you can cheat more. You can easily slide that DM or you look good. Females be all for it. Next thing you know, y'all meeting up. You know, all types of stuff. Because they putting it out there for you to see.
That's with both genders, though.
I agree, but I feel like men are more prone to cheat than women.
Okay, what are the stats for that?
Huh?
Where's the stats for that? Where'd you get those stats from?
I don't feel like it's any stats. I don't have stats, but I'm just saying like women are more like mentally stronger than men are.
I don't think that's necessarily
What percentage of women initiate
I don't know any percentages, but I feel like as a woman I know. I wouldn't just I feel like men cheat off they're able to cheat without putting their emotions into it. Women, we cheat with putting our emotions into it. We'll cheat if a man is not treating us right or if a man pushes us to cheat. Compared to a man, you can do everything for him, but if you got a fat butt, I'm gonna hit it.
But we're not gonna speak in absolutes because I know I don't do that.
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's what starts the gender wars.
Yeah, that's all.
And just coming from, so I think I was talking about it earlier that I'm a licensed therapist. So coming from working with couples, I think, and seeing cheating happen right in my session, I think that the reason that will happen is if you have a guy who's either one way or the other, has a low sense of self or a high sense of self, has like a God complex or thinks very little of himself. So that pumps up an ego, or that they're very simple in that sense. It either pumps up the ego to make them feel better or pumps it up to make them feel even better. So having that access, yes, I agree. Women are more emotional, but as far as who can control their emotions more, it's person to person, because you will be surprised as to how many men are really truly way more emotional and out of control and imbalanced with it. And they suppress it and they go after things to like make themselves feel good. And that's just what it is. Finding people who are secure and balanced within themselves, both genders.
And it's crazy because we'll say we're healed from these past relationships, right? When we get to a new relationship and we got these new self and realize, you know, throughout that relationship we'll get triggered by something like, dang, was I really ill?
Yep. Nope.
No, I agree. I dealt with that lately, so I definitely get that.
And then especially as Black and brown people, we cannot fix another person's trauma.
Absolutely, I agree.
And our trauma is very unique. Our trauma has layers. So when we get into relationships with people, we have to be mindful to look out for those signs.
Trauma bonding is real.
Trauma bonding is real AF.
Are y'all into the toxic relationships? I mean, I know people, they be fighting. Are y'all into that? I can't get with it.
We all dealt with it before, but is that something that we want?
I haven't.
Okay.
I like respectful
There's
men. I'm sorry,
there's different
gentle
kinds of
men, for real.
toxic relationships.
Oh, I thought you were talking about hitting.
But I'm
that's
abusive.
Yeah.
I have dealt with like a toxic person. It was kind of hard for me to like leave him, but we was really early in it. We were just talking. We wasn't like really together, but I kind of dealt with it. But
why was it hard for you to leave it?
maybe I think it is like kind of trauma bond, or you feel like you're getting certain attention from a person, and they're constantly calling you. And it's like, okay, like he cared one day, even though he crazy the next. So it was kind of hard.
Right.
And I was in vulnerable stages
like that, like he's thinking about it.
No, I was laughing because you did. I noticed. Oh shit, my bad. I noticed that the therapist came out. He was like, "So why was it hard for you?"
Yeah.
The man in the room. I just seen it. I was like, "Oh, I see you, girl."
You know, a crazy quote I had heard the other day, which was like, I'm like, wow. It was like, you can tell how much a woman loves herself based on the man she dates.
I agree.
Oh,
I agree.
1,000%.
I agree.
Wow.
When you don't have a good sense of self in general, everything in your life will not go the way that you want it to.
Because I was sitting there comparing myself to these scamming
absolutely.
not realizing, bro, she might be intimidated by you. Like, nah, you don't want me.
That's why you see a lot of women in our 30s, especially black women who are the most educated women in the country, we're single.
Yeah.
Because we won't accept anything.
Right.
And then it's hard because we're dealing with the trauma of the black man in America.
That's true.
So if you want a black man, and if he's a good person and he's educated, he's got 10 to 1 right there.
Right.
He's got 10 to 1. And so then that increases his sense of self.
Yeah.
To where it's like, nah, I got a whole bunch of people to choose from. But once, in general, people have a high sense of self, they succeed in everything. But think about Oprah. Think about, she had a conversation with, who's the girl that created not Blackish, Abbott Elementary.
Quinta. I love her.
Brunson. They had a conversation, right? And basically, both her and Quinta were like, I never not believed in myself. And I said, those are two people that always were sure of themselves throughout life. No matter what trauma they went through, they always went back to their balanced sense of self. And that's how they were able to succeed early on. Or that's how they were able to sit in their lack of success sometimes and still feel good about themselves.
I like that, though.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Now, question, right? On that same token, right? Do we then look at who was around them growing up, who poured into them in that individual space? Like, okay, like I'm not saying Oprah wasn't going to ever be Oprah, or Quentin was never, or these great people were never going to be themselves. But coming from a point of like education, you can visibly see like who is at home being poured into.
But some people you can't tell, right?
She wasn't poured into. If you know her background, and a lot of people aren't, it's sort of kismet. It's sort of like your fate and your destiny,
right?
Where you fall and what you latch onto. So she probably latched onto a very powerful and pivotal person that showed her how to balance herself.
But that's what I'm talking about.
We can come from crap. We can come from total shit.
But that's what I'm saying. When I say come from, not necessarily only like. I'm talking about if someone stepped in and showed her, then someone supported and poured into her at some point. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be the people you come up with, because you can come from trash and be a diamond in the rough. But it's going to take somebody to say, "Let me pull you up. Let me pour into you." Because a lot of these things, it seems that people think they're inherent when they're actually learned. Like you have to learn compassion. You have to learn these things and consistently fall on your learning and teaching. Like, okay, I'm gonna be a little more. But when you don't have people telling you that, you don't, essentially always know. So someone might think, hey, me cheating on a girl to break up is the best way because the only thing I ever saw or was ever taught was, that's the easiest way to get somebody to leave you alone.
No, but I feel like certain things are choices after a while too, because you you might not have nobody teach you certain things or pouring into you, but you learn as you go. And I feel like sometimes a lot of black men use their things they've been through as excuses to do certain things they do, or like, I'm not getting married, or I'm not this because you learn as you go. That's not everybody's outcome basically of how you think it will be. And sometimes you don't have that perfect example, but sometimes you got to be the one to want to set that perfect example for yourself or your kids down the line.
I think at what point are we going to stop using our background and our trauma as adults, because we can have that and even as young adults have that through our whole lives, but then when there's a certain point in your life where you have to be like, now is the time I got to take responsibility and fix it and figure it out. Some people learn that earlier on, where it just came naturally to just
fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're put in positions where you have to be responsible to survive, and I think that's what happens to a lot of Black women. We are put in positions to be responsible for our survival, and we choose healthier ways. Then we thrive a little bit better, even through the difficulties. But I think what's different, and I hate to pin the man woman because it really is sometimes just people, but it's a society that treats us differently, so we have to talk about it differently.
Right.
So at some points, you have, for example, a Black man that's being dragged down through the ground society-wise. So it's easier for them to take up the wrong things because their fight or flight is going in a different direction. I try to go to school, they kick me out. I try to do the right things. It seems like everything is leading me to just do the wrong. But there has to be that point where you're like, okay, here's where I want to pick different, and I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to latch on to better crowds. I'm going to find better women. But not everyone has that self-awareness.
Right.
I was getting ready to say that.
It's so hard, especially if you're like a product of your environment. That's all you're seeing, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It is so hard to crawl up out of that mindset.
Yeah.
Man or woman, just anybody. I grew up hard.
But I do feel like a lot of Black men are unsure of themselves. Like a lot of stuff. And I feel like that also has a part to play in them, like, wanting to be married and stuff like that, or like start those families. Like, even if they do start a family, you see a lot of them having kids, and it's not really any commitment there, even though a kid is a big commitment. But a lot of men I talk to is always like, I don't know if I want to get married, and I don't know if I want this because this, that, and the third. And it's like I said, that might not be your outcome of what you think. Like, sometimes you have to be sure of what you want, know what you want. And Black women, I feel like we're so sure of what we want that it's hard trying to. It's like a tug of war. Yeah, it's like tug of war with Black men and Black women. It's like, I want marriage, but I don't know. So it's like you at a standstill, but then you're looking at other races, constantly getting married, having children, doing this, building generational wealth. And it's like we're the only ones still against each other. We're like still trying to figure it out.
It was designed to happen like this.
It was designed that way. That's how they made it. They made us to be the independent, stronger vessel as women, and we shouldn't be.
Right.
We should be dependent on each other as a race and as a culture. But it's built that way.
Exactly.
And it's rinse and repeat of
it's
that.
It's only in the Black community, too.
And it's right, because in the white community, why they choose marriage more often is because you mentioned, like, they're not sure of themselves. Well, when you grow up in a white household, you're getting messaging that tells you you're allowed to say how you feel.
Yeah.
No. Choose that.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I get this sense of autonomy constantly in society. Right. It's okay for you not to look at the Black people that are getting, racial slurs and not say anything. That's fine. It's about how you feel.
Right.
So that kind of brings me to Sam's question. Wait, you Sam or you Snoop?
Call me whatever.
All right.
At this point, you didn't say both of them.
Okay. All right, this kind of brings me to Snoop's question. So y'all kind of answered it a little bit, but I just want to, ask it officially. He said, what would you believe to be directly the main issue with dating today in the Black community? So I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more on your question.
You should answer it.
We haven't been answering questions.
I've been listening. I'm a great listener.
You've been absorbing.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? I don't like to interrupt people's thoughts. I'll let them dabble first, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that.
Oh, wait, what was the question?
We was answering.
I mean, well,
yeah, we did.
We really.
I can feel like you said, what's the biggest challenge in dating in the Black community?
Biggest issue.
What is the main issue you feel like?
Oh, I feel like I want to get into it. I feel like the main issue is like it's really no commitment. If I want to be honest, I feel like the biggest thing for me is baby daddy, baby mama type of stuff. Is that like?
I feel like the main issue for real is social media and everybody being so accessible to each other.
Yes, and toxicity as well. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like we said, they put Black women and Black men against each other. In all reality, men need women and women need men. Period. But I feel like it's always like, and I also feel like they make dating so transactional. I feel like we see a lot of celebrities and how they interact with their mans, and it's like,
for yourself.
Now you gotta buy me a Birkin, you gotta spend money on me, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and it's like, what happened to genuine relationships, genuine love, genuine like connections?
It's out there.
So
yeah. But then you gotta understand the environment you succumb yourself to. Because I used to go to the club thinking I'm gonna meet my girlfriend, not realizing I'm meeting the same women over and over, just different faces.
I agree.
Then I had to figure out, wait, I'm the problem.
Right.
It's really me. I'm putting myself in these environments thinking I'm gonna find love.
I agree.
Not to say that there aren't good women in the clubs, but just look.
No, I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying?
I feel like once you do start building that relationship with God and putting yourself in different environments,
That part.
you do come across those genuine and real connections. So
That part.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I'm
right.
not.
I started doing that, so because your man ain't in the club.
No.
And the type of man I want, he can't be at the club. I'm sorry. He can't.
What kind of man need to be?
I want a God. First, I always say, like, I want a God-fearing man. Like, a man that puts God first. Because I feel like a man who wants to do right by God, he wants to do right by other people. I feel like a lot of people put all these type of characteristics on a man. Like, oh, he got to be good to me. I want you to be good to God, be good to other people. Because I feel like that shows a lot in how you're going to treat me as well.
There's a lot that come with that, right?
I do.
Sure.
Because you also have to match that.
Yeah. You want a God-fearing man till he's telling you can't drink to get drunk no more.
Okay, that's fine.
You know
No, that's what I want.
You want a God-fearing man till he say, so he say, yo, we not having sex, but we ain't kissing either. Till we get
but no, I want marriage though. So but those are the type of things I want that type of pressure put on me. Like, and I'm even willing to put that on somebody else because I want to honor God. Like, I feel like I put God first. So,
all right. And then you want a God-fearing man till he say, I'm not getting married on your time. I'm getting married on God's.
Ooh,
facts.
But
I'm not about to be in this relationship for 4 or 5.
If it's right by God, then it's right by me. Simple.
Okay.
Like
simple.
Okay.
But then, sorry.
No, you're good. What would you think the main issue is?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's like a sickness. So I think it's so many different things. It's really hard to pinpoint which is more than the other because depending on the circumstance, this might be higher in this area. But it's so many contributing factors to
so many. I mean, we could talk about the blue pill videos.
What's that?
A lot of these
blue pill video?
A lot of these podcasts that cater to men be like, yo, fellas, don't date till you have a certain amount of money in your pocket, or if a girl texts you, wait an hour to text her back. All these, and you start to consume this, and you start to believe this is true. Yeah. This is how I gotta move, and
it's very confusing. It creates a void. Yeah. The amount of messaging that you get towards the right way to do things and the wrong way to do
because
things.
we don't know the difference.
Right. So one person
nobody
will be
taught us how to date.
Don't take us to a coffee date because they're not going to accept
that.
Exactly.
Cheesecake Factory days. Exactly. I love Cheesecake Factory, y'all. So
please, Red Lobster mood. As long as the conversation is good and there's substance in the relationship, because then you're throwing away someone that might potentially give you all of those things. But I think that's like the whole sprinkle mentality is someone said it's an over course correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's saying don't just accept the bare minimum, but it's also leaving out a lot of good experiences just because you didn't want to go to a nice coffee shop on the first date just to chop it up. You know? And it's also the responsibility. Vet people. If you don't want to be taken to a coffee shop, have a FaceTime with the person before you go on a date. So you don't feel like as a man I'm wasting my money. Vet that woman, talk to her, get to know her more than just a few texts. She look good, because those are the women that aren't going to give you the substance.
I agree.
And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Now I was just gonna get into what you said about like people not knowing how to date. I feel like that's why it's important to know people who are able to separate themselves from social media, because I can sit on social media and watch Share 7 and sprinkle whatever all day, but I'm like, I know what she's saying is toxic. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's not the right way to date. I know that's not how God wanted us to be, like, when it comes to building those connections. And I feel like, even with the standards of, like, going to the coffee shops, I feel like they kind of, like, make it seem like, oh, the coffee shop not a first date. I'm not going to lie, women do be a little ungrateful. They're very ungrateful because, like, a man asks you to go to the coffee shop that takes to the coffee shop, but then you mad when he want to pull up and just sit outside. So it just kind of be confusing. So I understand men's point of view as well. Yeah, sometimes feel like y'all being used. And then women, like I said, we never grateful. So it do just be kind of a struggle with both ends.
Right.
I think it has to be 50-50. Like, if you haven't spoken to that person ahead of time, a coffee shop should be acceptable. But if you had extensive conversations and it's been 2 weeks of talking, getting to know each other, take that woman out. Take that woman out.
What they say, just start dating people that like you and who you like, period. That's simple.
And it's hilarious that you say that, right? Because I have these mentees, I mentor young black men and who are going to college. So I say to them, you know how sometimes you get the message, hey, if you can't party and get up for class, don't party.
Right.
And I'm like, that message is so broad because if that individual can't, I've known many people who can party all night
100%.
and still go to class and pass. I know people who can't party all night. So the message shouldn't be the situation. It should be more know yourself. Like you said, get to know know what you're capable of so that when you get in these relationships with young women or men, know what, is valuable. Because if you pulling from social media, you're going to think everything on there is valuable. But you need to know what you value. You know what I'm saying? If you wholeheartedly feel like, I just want to get to know this man, I just want to vibe with him, the scenery doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you are materialistic, I know people out there, do your thing. Date how you are. Just don't try to put how you date on somebody else.
And the right questions aren't being asked.
Right.
That's
the one. So vague.
That's
like,
the one.
It's like
shallow question.
People care more about the type of restaurant you take them to, the type of person you are, and that's where everything just gets messed up at. Period.
Yeah,
like
because Ruth Chris is not going to raise your child.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why people don't get to know each other.
Ain't going to raise your baby.
They taking pictures. Everything you saying going one ear out the other. They ain't worried about you.
Leave it there, because that brings me to my next question. So my next question is: do you think you should be dating if you are broke? And then it's a part 2. What is your definition of broke?
She was
ready.
Like,
she was ready to go. She had the clip in the chamber.
I've really been through this. I feel like you could date and when you broke, depending on where you who you with and where y'all both are at in life. So like, let's say we both in college. We broke college students. We working. We building each other up. We trying to get somewhere. But like, if you come across a woman who got things going for herself, why you want to date her while you broke? It's not gonna work. It's just not. Especially if she's already providing for herself, has a certain lifestyle for herself, and you come thinking you're going to bring the bare minimum or not able to, like, help her, add anything to that, it's not going to work.
So the bare minimum to you is money?
Not being able to provide is the bare minimum. Like, I feel like, well...
But what if you provide in other ways?
The men are natural providers, and I'm not saying this as, like, a woman from, like, I need to use somebody or, like, but you just can't, as a man being a natural provider and leader, you need to have some type of financial security. Simple. So
men, what y'all think?
Broke to me is a mindset. Is he at home all day playing the game because he lost his job 2 weeks ago and he's not applying to new jobs? Or is he putting himself out there to, putting himself in place of, making money and stuff like that? That's what
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
But you better come with some money still. I'm sorry, like,
but we only dating.
But it depends. Like, if I've been dating you, let's say you lost your job, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I'm leaving him. He's broke." But like you said, you need to be actively applying for jobs. I'm gonna stick beside you, but don't come to me. You see, I got I'm doing stuff for myself, and you don't have nothing to bring in. I just can't. I'm not at that point in my life where I would want to ever build a man up again. Right. I can't do that.
Understandable.
Agreed.
The economy
I'm
right
past
now
is
done that. They will leave you high and dry.
Church anymore because I've already given to that given offering to that society. I just feel like if it depends on where, like you were saying, because I'm not willing to date someone who isn't finding at this point, being 32 years old, having X amount of jobs. Like, I'm good, and I think that it should be whatever the person prefers. Would I meet someone right now who is like unemployed and working on himself and and say yes, okay, I'm willing to work with that because you don't have a broke mentality? No.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds bad,
it's
or
bad.
maybe it doesn't. I don't really care. I would just prefer the person to, like, if I gotta get up and go every day, I want to be sure that you have somewhere to go every day and that you're doing good, if not better than me. But it's not about buy me a Birkin bag. Right. I think that's the course correct.
I just like to know that sense of financial security, like I said, is there. If something happens, okay, I know my man got me. I don't want to be sitting here, oh my God, he ain't got it. Like, I got to keep pulling the weight. That gets tiring after a while. I don't want to be that girl. Like, it gives sugar mama vibes.
Yeah. Very much so. Like, if you calling me saying my bank account is negative, I need you to send. No.
Or I ain't got it. That's the worst. I'm tired of I ain't got it. Yeah. Stay away from me. I'm sorry.
Saying though, you knew this before you started dating them, though, right?
But like we both was know.
Because in the sense you're talking, this just sound like y'all already in a relationship. I'll call my man. So you've been with him for a while.
No, yeah, we've been together for a while.
Circumstances have changed.
Yes, but it was a circumstance where we both started off somewhere, and I was elevating, going high, and then he was still. I ain't got, like,
but you knew this before you started.
Yeah, I did. But like I said, we was at the same level. Like that's why I said it depends where y'all both at. And like we was at the same level when I started, and you're still I don't got it, and you're not trying to go after more. That becomes an issue.
But that's why he said it's a mentality.
Yeah. Right. So that's how
I hear you talk about God a lot. You know, in the Bible it says that you need to be a helpmate to your.
I agree, and I've been that helpmate of sticking beside a person, pushing them to want better.
Do you regret it?
But if a person don't want it for themselves, you can't. Like it's nothing more you can do.
I agree.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You good.
Oh, trust me, I know how to be
real good.
The girl.
She's ready until she had one in the chamber every time.
Real good. Right. All right, to lighten it up a bit. Wait, Farod, did you have something to say?
No, I was gonna say, man, if you broke, you should fast. That's it. Like, and that's for any. I would, if I had a child, whether she was my daughter or that was my son, I'm teaching them. I get that we have to teach them different because they're, human female, human male. But you should be able, at bare minimum, to stand up on your own.
Yes.
I if you can't stand up on your own, and you ask for somebody else to stand up on your own, it's gonna cause so many problems. So I would definitely teach my son, listen, you have to provide. And I will also teach my daughter, you need to provide for yourself. We are human beings and individuals.
Yeah.
Right, I
The
agree.
only attachment you have is really your child. Honestly, to be honest, I don't know how many, we ain't gonna talk about that. But like, it's your child. Whoever you brought into this world, that's your attachment. But other than that, you're supposed to provide for yourself. So I wouldn't even teach that to a young person growing up. Like, hey, have a little, and then no. Be able to sustain yourself. And then when you get into a union, y'all can put each other. But yeah,
I like the messaging should go both ways because it takes away this expectation. Even though a lot of women don't necessarily have that, but the expectation that, well, they do nowadays, that he's supposed to take care of me and he need to be paying these bills but can you pay your own bills?
I agree. Yes.
But
Okay.
that breaking
There's so
back,
many-
can you
That's the
afford
biggest
it?
one. Can you pay your own bills?
Can you
A
do
lot
your
of
own
women
hair?
can't though, and that's
why
why.
you're relying on a man.
Yeah,
Because
and
if something happens, he's gonna have that power dynamic, and it's gonna be a toxic
Yeah,
relationship.
like I feel like
Okay.
some women they always my man gotta have $100,000 and
No.
buy me Chanel's and it's like you don't even got $10 in your pocket right
Talk
now.
about
You
it.
can't even pay your phone bill. So why are you expecting so much from somebody
Talk
who don't?
about it.
You know, I feel like sometimes people need to be also more realistic. Like I said, we idolize celebrity relationships. And it's like, no, my man need to come with a G-Wagon and Range Rover. Girl, we ain't living with RV
Right.
whoever else living at. Relax.
You got a basic 9 to 5.
Right.
Relax.
Working at
Not
McDonald's.
too much. Not
Come
too much.
on.
Forever 21.
All right. So to lighten it up, the conversation a little bit, I got another question. How much is too much to spend on the first date, and what's the minimum you should expect to spend? So that part is for the guys.
A real first date?
Yeah,
So,
official first date.
Crazy thing is, right, I went through these transitional periods. Backstory. Before I grew up, I never met my father, so I never saw that type of relationship. All the other men that I knew in my life, we had older brothers or people who were the same age as me. So I'm learning from them. So when I was growing up, I really thought, pull up to the table with your money. I'm gonna pull up to the table with my money because the fair exchange is it's your time and it's my time. We're both equal in time. As I got older, that didn't really work. People hitting me in the head with rocks. You're crazy. That's not what a man's supposed to do. So then I went through another phase. And then I went through a phase where women really would pull up to dates for the food. Like, I'm just like, and then I have a conversation. Because one thing is I try to peep the scene. Maybe I'm tripping. I always go first. Like, maybe I'm tripping. So let me ask some questions. And then get to these questions. Oh, you think every time we go out, I'm going to just pay for you. Like, why do you think that? Like, what, where's the even exchange? Your time and my time are both valuable things. Now I'm just like, if I like this person enough, I'm just going to spend it whatever, and charge it to the game because I actually want to enjoy that person's space. I've done that. I spent $300-$400, never seen a young lady again.
Same.
And I charge it to, yeah.
$300-$400.
Right.
We
wildin'.
No, I'm just saying, like, throughout the term of the date, eat and then a sport, you know what I'm saying, gas or
Talk to
toll,
people who
New
really
York.
like you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because then it
That part
becomes,
too.
now you're not focused so much on how much you're spending, but really the time you're spending with the individual. Right. So for me, personally, at this point in my life, if there's no amount, you know what I'm saying? But I will, again, we all adults and human beings. I ain't gonna gauge it like I ain't, not five bands. Not 5 bands, baby.
Yeah.
But I'm invested in the time, and if it, accumulates more money, then I'm gonna do it. Because it's genuinely something. If I take that L, at least I genuinely wanted to do it. I ain't get sucker punch tricked.
Yeah.
I did it on my own accord.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think that was one of my biggest issues too, because when I was dating, like I was kind of like not being mindful of my money. So when I was going on these dates, I would like to show women, like, how like peacocks show their feathers. I was trying to show off, like, let me show you how, what I'm saying, how your life gonna be with me. Not realizing that was the wrong way to go about it, because now she's gonna want me to keep up with that. You get what I'm saying? Like, what happened to? We was going to Roof Chris. We was going to Brooklyn Chop. What was going on with that? You know what I'm saying? So I had to be careful with that.
Facts.
Yeah.
You gotta pull it out every once in a while.
Right. But if the first day, they're like, oh, hold
on.
on. And he
See, I
he
feel
sent me
like-
the black truck to pick me up. Oh, you gotta say so. You don't never want to. You don't never want to.
Keep doing that.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with fine dining, but I feel like sometimes women do take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I be feeling bad when I speak on it because I feel like women will look at me like, girl,
Oh.
what? But women do take advantage of it, and I really do sympathize for men sometimes because I feel like I understand how like it could feel for a man to be used. You spend $500 on the first date, you never see the girl again.
Right.
I never date again. You tripping? I'm sorry.
You know what they say.
I'm
That's-
going to be
I
somebody else.
just want to say those dates never happened because there was no connection.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it never was. She ran out on me.
Okay.
After spending it, I realized like,
But that's bad
But
though.
did
Like,
you
because I
vet
would
her?
need
Huh?
to be out of $500 for that.
Did you
Yeah,
vet her first?
yes,
Did you talk
yes.
on the phone
Oh,
for
yes,
more than
yes.
an hour?
But you
that's
know what's
fine.
so crazy?
What?
people in their mask and people in there when they get in these
Okay,
comfort zones.
okay, that's
So we drinking now. You talking
Take
a little
the
more.
risk.
So
Right.
on the phone, that shield or that
Yeah.
pretend was able to be sustained, but now a little sippy sappy. Now you just running your mouth.
But that's
and
why I'm
all
saying if
that.
a person really like
Now
you,
like-
whether you take them to Roof Chris or
Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory, they gonna vibe with you.
agree.
Right. They're
That's
not gonna
right.
say like,
Yeah.
no, ew. If
Yeah.
they like you, they gonna come. I feel like that's the real test.
Mm-hmm.
See what they say when you be like, I'm taking you to real. Well,
You
don't
won't
take me
know
to
like
because
the-
they're gonna be in the group
So
chat
whoever they
regardless.
say-
You gonna
See
be
what
in
they
that
say.
group
I
chat.
feel like those
Yeah.
type
Okay.
of women
That's how you
spoil
know
it
the type
for
of woman they are,
good.
though.
Yeah. But we won't know that y'all in the group chat until we find out later. That's when the group chat.
Never
Yeah.
show your hand too quick because they'll fall in love with your hand and not your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a nice bar.
All right.
That was a nice bar.
We need a DJ. I'm gonna call my man
It's
DJ
sad
Midnight.
because those type of women that want you to spend the $500 ruin it for those that wouldn't mind spending 5 hours in a nice coffee shop in
Right.
the city and just vibing out.
Right.
It's sad. It's
And I feel like the women who really got stuff going for themselves, like me, we don't ask for much.
we really
For real, we
don't.
really don't ask. I feel like we don't put as much expectations on men as women who don't really got nothing got.
That's a
Like
fact.
those women who be like, take me to Roof Chris, they don't barely got a dominate
realistic
account.
expectations. Like we
Yeah.
have realistic expectations.
Right. Like you can take
And
me
there are
walk in
some
and we can
who-
just chill. You feel me? Vibe. And if I really like you, I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm not looking for you to spend $500, but
Right.
like I said, just still cost some money just in case.
I
but
mean, don't get me wrong. I still want to dress up cute and,
Right.
and look proper and come out on a nice date. But at the same time, it's those who
Right.
that's all they expect. If you,
Right.
How dare you take me to a coffee shop? Type of women, and I'm not trying to. And it's like, how you look, sis?
right. Because I like me some Benihana too. Like
crazy.
little cheap dates.
So can I pose a question?
Yeah.
Right. As it pertains to relationships, whether it be platonic, friendships, dating, significant others, does anybody, because I'm finding this as a nuance probably within the last 4 years because of my association with reading, do you find it, interesting, whether good or bad, like when you're talking to somebody, you realize like they don't really read, like books, like, I mean, you might see them read social media stuff or, anything that's on aside from social media. And again, I'm not judging. I'm simply noticing like when we go on these dates and these people don't have, extensive vocabulary or substance, you realize like, there's something where they're not utilizing their brain more probably for social media than something else. So like, what is your take on that? Like if you was dating a dude and you realize like
It's
after
not gonna
5
work.
months, my man,
I've experienced that, and it's just not gonna work. The intimidation. I've even had people tell me not only just how I speak, like go on a date and how I speak, but just how I present myself. So it's never gonna work if you have a sense of like inferiority. I don't care if you don't read and all that stuff, because a lot of us aren't reading 100 books for the year. That's fine, but if you cannot have a sense of admiration for my character that might be different from yours, or feel like I'm gonna look down on you or something like that, it's never gonna work. I literally got a couple months back, look on my Instagram and was like, yeah, I can't date you. And I was like, why? We vibe, everything is great. He's like, listen, I just don't feel like I'm the guy for you. I don't feel like I'll be good enough for you. You look like you like expensive things.
that?
You look
A lot
like you
of-
go
a lot of
on
men
nice
feel like that,
vacations. You're well educated. I don't even know why you're single. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's just not. He took himself out the game.
Yeah.
But I get what
do
you're
that too,
saying.
too.
Like, would I look down? No. If you're a good person in your heart, it don't matter if you could read 100 books
Right.
and be the smartest person ever. If you have no soul or substance or like passion for life, it's just not
I
gonna
agree.
work. 'Cause you're
I'm
gonna feel
typically really
inferior.
talking about reading specifically. Like all that stuff because you talking
That's fine.
no
I'm
disrespect.
okay with
I'm
someone
talking
who
about
doesn't
like
read often.
and the reason I ask that is because sometimes it becomes a question of like what are you ingesting for our conversations? Like if you want this expectation of a person to be on a date and have a conversation of substance, you gotta ask what's being poured into him.
Right.
And if the only thing he's letting to pour into him is social media, then one, you're gonna find a conflicted person because social media is conflicted. So much information is like you said before, which one is the right one, this constant, funny that Kanye said this once, this funny thing is like no one wants to be wrong. So now you got these people with all this information who believe their information is right over your information.
Right.
So now we go into these, these dates or these conversations and I'm noticing like, not and it doesn't have to be 100 books.
But something that
But like, because like, imagine you
resonated.
reading a book from Michelle's book, and you want to talk to your significant other, and they have no feedback for you.
Nah, you're right. I
Now,
get where you're coming from.
You
You're
know,
right.
so it's like,
I
yo,
get it. I
what are
think
these
that
dudes doing?
too. It's hard because a lot of people don't. I think that does reading alone give you substance? I don't know. That's a hard one.
Again, I'm not saying alone. I'm simply saying, working in education, because again, for black people in education, when it comes to reading, sometimes it's often from school. So it becomes a negative. So if I had this and I see the adverse effect. Now you feel like the only time you need to read is when you have to regurgitate it to something. So if you feel like you get to a point as an adult, you really don't have to regurgitate all this information, you're probably going to stay in whatever realm you're in. So like you said, if you're at the post office, that's the information that you're being fed in your day-to-day. If you're a therapist, your information or your access to reading is totally different because you're reading a lot of stuff. As opposed to, so when you have all these different groups, when it comes to now dating and you're doing these certain things, again, like religion, if you're reading the Bible and they're not, it's like, okay, we don't connect on that realm.
Yeah, that's true.
So you know what I'm saying? And them small things, like what happens when we get in these spaces and we realize, like,
Yeah, you have a point, because someone who didn't read tried to come for me because I was spitting out statistics. And I was just like, well, you want to send the article? And I sent all the articles to him as I was spitting, and it was a problem. And I was like, well, don't tell me where am I getting this information from, because I got to read.
I got the empirical evidence for it.
I feel like wanting to be with an open-minded person and somebody who's like very knowledgeable, that comes with somebody who needs to read. Because like I'm a person who read a lot of self-help books, and I just like to read up on certain things, period. And I feel like if I didn't read, I probably wouldn't have a lot of knowledge. And most people I feel like who probably don't read as much and don't know certain things, I feel like they'll be more prone to be closed off to like your opinions or certain things you have to say, because like you said, they're ingesting social media or what their friends saying or like the outside world. So I think it's important.
What about you, brother? Because I'm really interested. Yeah. I'm not gonna hold you. And everybody over, I was like, I want to know that question to you.
I was trying to think in the dating aspect, but my mind drew more to kids growing up. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us grew up reading Junie B books, was it Junie B, Goosebumps and stuff like that, and we used to try to stay up all night with the little flashlight and read, but there's a lot of kids that don't read anymore. Like there's a big epidemic of kids that being able to read, they don't know how to read. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the issues in the black community as well right now.
Yeah.
Like, amongst all other things. Single parent homes.
Baby mama,
An interesting thought I had the other day. I'm like, my love language, right, being words of affirmation and physical touch. I had to think about it. Someone said, like, at times your love language can be what your parents didn't give you. I said, damn.
Ooh, that's the one right there.
I definitely agree.
That's the one right there.
I agree.
Not always.
Right. And I had to sit with that because
absolute.
I didn't hear that, I didn't get words of affirmation from my mother. I didn't hear, like, son, I'm proud of you. Son, keep doing your thing. I didn't know physical touch either. I can't even tell you the last time me and my mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was interesting to hear, you know what I'm saying?
That's so true, though.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation is huge.
Right.
I feel like that's something big to touch on, though. Like how them, what is it, like your daddy and mommy issues come back up when you start dating. They definitely come up.
Do you believe you're difficult to love?
No. I'm always starting it off, right? I don't. Just do what I say and everything gonna work out. I said, I'm playing. But no, I feel like I'm not. I feel like I require anything that any woman would want to require from a man. And I feel like my issue is once I don't get that, though, I don't know how to, like, go about, like, like, probably communicating it. It's like once I feel like I'm not secure, I just kind of get irritated and I'm over it. And it's like I kind of lash out. But I don't feel like I'm easy to love, though.
Why didn't your last relationship work out?
He wasn't. He wasn't, like I said, remember I was talking about, like, you come somewhere with a person and you're constantly, and the person wasn't trying to go where I wanted to grow more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to build together. And I feel like that person was unsure of himself, where he was going. He didn't know how to get anywhere seriously, so it didn't work. I
feel that. The only issue with that is now you're coercing him to move at a certain pace he didn't want to move at. Exactly. Now he's moving at your pace, and now because he's doing it because he wants you. Is he doing it for himself, or is he doing it because he wants you? I agree,
and that did become the issue because it started feeling like a force. Like
exactly,
I wanted you to do this, but it wasn't. I was also okay with like being patient with a person, but like I said, when a person unsure who they are, I can't sit there and while you unsure because I'm sure who I am and where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to get done. So it's like now you're wasting my time, and I feel like that was the issue. It was, yes. Okay.
It also made a choice this day. We have to be.
I did make a choice, but I made that choice. I did
because the first moment that we see that person isn't what we know, and sometimes it happens at the very, very, very beginning. We just choose to have hope, and that's really not love.
But that's what it comes. But I feel like I don't know if it's all black women, but for me, like as a black woman, loving somebody and wanting somebody to have better and do better. that I feel like sometimes that makes you stay. But going like now that I know if you really do love somebody, you gotta sometimes leave them alone too and let them figure it out. Because sometimes trying to help them gonna only hurt you in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you love somebody, you gonna stay and want the best for them because you don't want to just leave them behind while you going places and they just no. I want you to come up here with me, but if you're not sure yourself, you can't get there.
Yeah.
So,
love is not blind; it's hopeful.
Yeah.
Guys, do you guys think you guys are difficult to love?
I'll let you go first.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I think if you are different, unless you again, suffer some type of trauma, some extreme trauma where you psychologically feel like you're unable, you're not, love isn't for you. Nah. Other than that, and again, that does happen. There are people who grow up, who never receive love or received it the wrong way, and all these different things. But I wouldn't say I'm difficult to love. I'm pretty
easy to love.
Not easy. I mean, because I'm lovable, and that comes in so many different ranges. Okay. And if we work with that more than one end of the spectrum than the other, it constantly continues to develop or create an ideology of like that person is difficult to love. Why? Because somebody else might take that and work with that, and they might not be difficult to love. So it might be difficult to love that person for you, but that doesn't make them difficult to love. And again, unless we're talking about somebody who, just is some severe trauma, because that can distort your perception of thinking that you're worthy. I think all human beings are worthy of love. It might not come from the person you think it's supposed to come to. And it's crazy about that because I say prayer. Prayer is so powerful. Sometimes you got to pray for people. And I think it's so undervalued. Like I say that, I'm going to pray for them. Oh, that's all you're going to do? That's powerful, baby.
It is.
That is the strongest thing I got for you. I'm going to pray you're going to figure it out. And it might not be with me. It goes back to like figuring out, knowing what's worthy of staying and losing self. Like Nipsey said, sometimes, and I love this saying, I'm sorry to quote it though, but he said, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? If you feel like you're in a situation where you losing constantly, and if you can't tell or have a level of discernment to know that this person is doing their best with what they got versus just lying to. And I will say this, because, I don't want to say it like this, because men operate with being able to suppress emotion, they can also manipulate very well. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we say women should know, but I've been there before. I pull the wool over your eyes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And my coach once said, like, you can only do that for so long. Yeah. So I give credit to all the women who get manipulated and eventually figure it out. Right. Shout out to y'all because it may take longer for some and others, and we try to beat them down. It's like, people are doing the best they can, so we should pray every day for each other. Peace and blessings is what I say all the time.
Yeah.
But I think I
think what makes me easy to love is that I know what can sometimes make me difficult. Okay. And once we are able to acknowledge our flaws and be self-aware, it can be smooth sailing, because I always say, like, my first reaction is my worst reaction, but I'll catch myself before I fall, and I'm able to acknowledge, my bad. I be tripping sometimes. Oops. Or like, I need to work on my sense of control and how that plays, as it's really my anxiety. Right. So if you can acknowledge what makes it hard for someone to see you as like fully on love, then it makes it so much easier. So I'll say I'm easy to love because if there's something going on that I need to work through, I'm able to acknowledge it and like work on it actively and intentionally. Mm-hmm. But that manipulation thing, been down that road.
I feel like women are able to get manipulated by black men. Cause I feel like it's just such a genuine love we got for them. No, like women, our emotion. I read something. It was like when women meet a man, they start liking him at 100 and they deduct points. Men start liking you at 0 and they add points. Mm-hmm. So I feel like sometimes we start liking you here, and then even though you manipulating us, so sometimes we so confused because we just like, I love this man, like he's so fine and he's saying the right things. You just start feeling those emotions. So I feel like it's easier always to like get a woman so quick.
Do you think that's just black men? Or
I think that's men overall. I don't think it has overall.
I don't think it has a color. But I'm speaking specifically on our community right now. So that's why.
I just think it's also people. Yeah. Because there's women out there that are throwing that. If you think men are good at it,
women can fake it
when they want to. But I think there's a protectiveness that we have over how we treat people and how we are self-sacrificial. Yeah. With ourselves, and that's what makes it harder for us to manipulate someone we love. A woman could come into a relationship and be manipulative, but then something happens that lets her guard down and makes her want to protect her relationship, and you start to see she does things differently. But as a guy, they're gonna protect themselves. Period.
Right.
So we're gonna swing it back to you because you ain't answering.
He sure didn't answer. Are you difficult?
I was getting ready to ask
love?
a question, but I'll answer.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
For me to say that I'm not difficult to love, this is for me to say that I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm far from that, but I acknowledge my wrongdoings in the relationship, and I'm always looking to, work those through.
So what's the question you were gonna ask?
I was going to ask you, do you believe love is a choice or
Ooh,
a
I was just
feeling?
about to say, that's crazy. I was gonna say that.
I'm very gray, so I'm gonna say I would hope it would be a good combination of both. I feel like when one's absent, it creates a void for something else. So it definitely is a feeling. Because crazy thing that you say that is sometimes when I'm dating, I don't have a lot of relationships because it's hard to be like, and I don't know if this is conditioning from watching a lot of TV, could be, but like this this idea of like I'm a no, and sometimes I'm like, I'm tripping, so maybe I need to spend a little more time in this space to figure out if I know.
That's real.
But then sometimes I've been in spaces where I knew,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out, of course, because I want to be here, talking about being sick. But knowing, but also at that same point, that's you got to show that. Like, and I say that because love definitely with the black male, the black man to the black child, black boy. Like, just because you think people, I coach basketball. You know how many times I didn't say, "This is what we're gonna do during the timeout." Everybody say yes. Go out there and do the opposite of what I said, and then I learned. Did you understand me? Yeah, but then I'm like, maybe you didn't understand. You proceeded differently because clearly you didn't.
Perception's
So
real,
now I got to figure out how to give it to you so that we see the same thing. So we often believe because we show up for our young boys because we're there and we're supportive that we don't have to say, "Yo, bro, I love you. I love you. I love you." I need you to hear that so that you can, no matter what storm you hit, you love somewhere. Yeah. Whether it be nobody in the world, Monday through Friday when you come through the door, Jose, I love you. Because that pours into. So I think it's a good component. I think I'll find the right person when I have a good balance, both the action and the constancy.
I like that you touched on that because I realized a lot of the mistakes I was doing in my past relationships that I was going into them trying to love that person based on how I wanted to be loved, not realizing I got to love this person how they want to be loved. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the compromise right there too.
That's how you're fixing your sense of self and
absolutely.
ego. That's how I wish you could say it for the people in the back. Because a lot of people and a lot of guys love that way, expectation and performative, and then they're saying, well, after a while, and this is my theory, how the whole sassy men thing comes into play. They're just loving based on what they want, but they don't know how to express that in healthy ways. So now it turns into an overcourse correct, where it's like, now I just expect you to do it all because I deserve, because I'm a good man, and people just treat me this way. Yeah. But it's just about being self-aware about that, and like. If I, like you had said it earlier, if I really like a woman, I'm going to take her out because my intention is just to get to know her and not because she's going to give me the draws or praise me for spending $300-$400 on her.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, I do feel like love is a feeling, but I also do feel like it's mainly a choice as well. Because like you said, you seen like a lot of things and was think like, oh, I'm going to get the feeling. I feel like love is taking a chance on somebody. Like sometimes you might not know if it's a person, but it's about taking a chance and seeing if it works in your favor or not. And I literally had a conversation with a friend before, and she was like, you got to be open to getting your heart broken. And I believe that's true as well. Like, you might be sitting here like, oh, I'm going to choose not to like this person or make them to want to get with them because every time I did that, it didn't work. Who says it's not going to work this time? So I feel like it's a choice to do everything when it comes to love, when it comes to being with a person, when it comes to even healing yourself and wanting to move forward from certain things. Like, it's a choice, for sure.
And it all stems from the household, too, because a lot of us grew up with single parents, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have our father in the household or our mother, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of us had narcissistic mothers or abusive fathers. They was in jail, whatever the case may be, and we don't have any source to pull from when it comes to loving a black woman. Like, so we watch porn, and porn is free, and that's a whole nother conversation another day. But so now we thinking, okay, this is how I'm supposed to treat a woman, or we go based on how our own homies treat their girls and stuff like that, and now I realize, bro, we're going the wrong way about this. There's no source to pull from.
Yeah, absolutely.
But knowing yourself and being sure who you are going to help you with that.
That's the one, but it's the process, and everyone has. We talked about it earlier that once you rinse and repeat someone in certain things, it is very hard to get out of that cycle and out of that mindset. So when is the point in which we make the choice? And you sound like you've made that choice at some point in your life, like, it looks like I'm loving this woman based on how I want to be loved, and it's not working out for me. It's when you start to see that the patterns aren't changing. It's when insanity sets in, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the point where
Being a
you
dead
have
horse.
to stop and get over your hang-ups about therapy, get over your hang-ups about church, get over your hang-ups about things that make you grounded, the crowd you're with, and then figure it out how I'm going to fix this.
Yeah.
But I also feel like even with you like saying love is a choice too, like choosing to love somebody through their difficulties or like you said, understand that, okay, I can't love them in my love language. I feel like love is choosing to want to work something through with somebody who it might seem a little rocky or seem different, but like working to get on a common ground with them. So
You want to know something interesting? I was sleeping the other day. I had a conversation about this time right now. I was going to pose this question. It's crazy, right? He was like, what? Mainly because of love. Like, often it seems that people love as it pertains to themselves versus, like, I love you, bro. You can go out here and do the opposite of what I think is the best for you. But as long as you feel like you're doing your best, I'm going to send you on your way. So where does the I guess, the connection or disconnect between I'm loving individuals as they are, even if they're not in my space anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I've loved women like, all right, you want to cheat, I still love you. And that comes to the part of that balance of choice. Like I can't choose. I like you. I really, you somebody I would want to be with, but you poison. Like I deserve better. I went back to girls who cheated on me twice because I thought I wasn't having sex with her, so she was gonna get it from somewhere else. That makes sense. I would do the same.
I just made logic out of nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, absence. There's an absence. Now, doesn't make her right, but I can see the math and like if she's not receiving something in any relationship or exchange, if you aren't receiving something, you're going somewhere else. I would have hoped she would have been had courage enough to say, hey, but also again, causality of relationship because I wasn't giving her that information. Like I'm not having sex. I'm coming into a relationship where you were just having sex and I'm not. So I didn't have that conversation. I'm not having sex. So now you thinking we gonna have sex. So it's unfair if we both haven't come to a mutual understanding. Again, you stepping out is totally crazy. But where did I play a role in that? I should have had that conversation, been comfortable. I didn't know how to because I didn't grow up. It was you were supposed to have sex where I was coming from. The men that were pouring into me, she pull it, you go. So I had to struggle with that because I'm like, going against my nature. I'm like, that really don't feel right because I really don't like her like that. So now I'm like, I'm playing basketball. I'm not worried about having sex, but she wants sex. She's kissing on me. I'm kissing back and then stop. No, we good. So that's unfair.
Well, why did you make the choice not to?
I'm be honest with you, conditioning. My coach told me if I play basketball and have sex, I'm not going to be able to be good. Basketball is all year round. So I was just like, nah.
Is that true?
Well, directly after. The physical stamina.
Psychologically,
your legs feel different.
The people want to know.
No, yeah. I mean, women are totally different. Women are totally different than men and human. Because sometimes you notice, like, sometimes a dude have, right after that first night, he, kind of down. Women want to go round. So, imagine you trying to go out there and hoop after you came. You like, man.
Because it's a release of energy.
So I'm down bad. My legs, I'm thinking I'm doing stuff. It's almost like.
And it's the only thing on your mind while you balling. Like, dang, that shit was good.
So there's scientific. I'm sorry. I know this is like off the whole thing, but there's scientific to lighten the mood. There's scientific proof
that your body releases. It's not so much specifically about basketball. It could be any sport.
I heard that about boxing.
That is any sport because
you
really
have sex in between, the knees, like in the season.
See, this is crazy conditioning. The way it was presented to me, because that's my coach. I thought it was forever. So season is literally from year to year. You got summer workout camp. You got your roster is set.
Okay.
So I'm like, I got a game tomorrow. I'm not having sex. You gonna make me? I'm trying to get out the hood.
But you never had that conversation.
Never had that conversation.
Yeah, because I
didn't know how to. It wasn't something that
turn you down for sex too. I'm not gonna lie, as a woman, I feel like it kind of does something.
So rejected.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm a woman. I look good. What you mean you don't want to? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if that feeling ever.
Nobody turns you down, huh?
No, it's not about that. No, it's not about that. It's just more so the feeling of rejection. I think it's because I'm what's the word? Sapiosexual.
Okay.
So it's really not that deep for me. Like I don't need to. It's not that important. So it's like, okay, let's watch a movie.
I used to think that I used to want a woman with a high sex drive, not realizing this woman that wants sex all the time it stems from somewhere. She may have been molested as a kid, or
yeah.
You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
it could
Or
just
other
be
stuff.
her sex drive.
or just or you know, it definitely could.
Yeah,
It definitely could,
be a
because
lot
it's
of
never.
things.
Yeah, it could be a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But one of those things is one of those.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
often those are the ones pretty much dating. You know, the ones who aren't. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Like you said, therapy. I really wish we could like get a pool, a city pool where we just pour in every month $5 each individual
to give
free
someone.
therapy.
Well, they have that.
Seriously.
They have those platforms, therapy for Black men,
yes.
Black girl therapists, Christina Barton on Headway.
Okay.
I feel like,
so.
I feel like that's also why a lot of
Psychology
people
Today.
not sure themselves though, because we don't understand who we are, like, and our mental health issues. Like, it's just always you're angry and you're crazy. That's what you grow up hearing. You don't know, like, I got angry because I wasn't loved, right, or I wasn't given the affection I needed, or like, you know, just certain things. My daddy wasn't there. It's just always you're angry, you're crazy. So then you get in these relationships, y'all toxic, y'all fighting each other, not realizing like this person living in survival mode and he dealing with this mentally and you dealing with that, and y'all just taking it out on each other.
Yeah.
So
And it's what I always say all the time is that anger, that emotion, anger, annoyance, frustration, those are easy for us to reach for, especially in the Black and brown community, because that's what's visceral. That's what's going to get people to respond to us. So when you're in relationship, that's your first go-to. He pissed me off, she pissed me off, when really what you mean is, I feel disappointed.
Right.
I'm hurt that the time we spend isn't valuable to you. But a lot of people don't know how to reach for complex emotions.
Right.
And so the emotional intelligence in our background is so hard, because when your parents were upset with you, you rarely heard, I'm disappointed and you hurt my feelings as a parent, right? So what we go to is, oh, you messing up in school? Oh, it's over for you. I'm pissed off. Yeah. And so that's what we learned, how to communicate with each other. And so many people have a hard time just being vulnerable. It feels yucky for them just to say to their friend, like, yo, girl, you know you really hurt my feelings. Yeah. I'm not talking to her no more. Forget her.
And I feel like even like we're like coming getting played or feeling rejected, instead of like, oh, you know, I feel humiliated. I feel like you played me. F that B. F that that nigga. I'm gonna get my one up. Like it's always like a game of like, I gotta make him feel worse than he made me feel, instead of just admitting how you feeling. Like just like, not saying being okay with it, but like just
be okay with it.
Like,
sit in your
he
feelings.
Played me. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I ain't gotta say go crazy and bash him and F him and F all these like
yeah,
you know?
it's so important and imperative to process your complex feelings and express them, because no one's gonna hear you when you're like F you. Now you got nobody. Now nobody's around when you look. Instead, whoever can't receive, yo, Snoop, you really disappointed me. If you can't receive that as my friend, my partner, then we can't be together.
And I feel like that's why it's hard for a lot of friendships and relationships to work out, period, because people don't know how to communicate that. People see, like, oh, well, it's not working, I got options. They think, social media also make people think they got options. So it's, I'm going to go make it work over here. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do that.
And the grass is green.
Just communicate. Make it, like, the grass, like, everything I know is going to be peaches and cream in your relationship and your friendships. But if you communicate it and y'all, like I said, find a common ground, y'all learn how to get over it, it could work. But people know, oh, well, this not working. He did this. Okay, watch this. Like, I'm out. Communicate.
And this is why love is a choice.
Right.
And it's also a feeling, because the feeling guides the choice.
Right.
If I don't feel that from you, that connection, I'm not going to choose to get up and tell you, wow, you hurt my feelings. Let's process this. Let's sit down together. And it has to be that balance. And that's why you see a lot of people choose to leave or cheat.
Right. It's easier.
So what would you say to those women or men that can't communicate in that way?
You look at the camera when you say that.
what kind of inner work do they need to be doing?
They need to figure out what makes it difficult for them to process complex emotions. A lot of times people also don't have the word bank to understand why, what happened, and what's the root of it. It's not just because your partner pissed you off. There's a pattern in your life that occurred, whether that be in childhood, in friendships as an adult, that occurred that you have to dig deeply into to understand, okay, how am I processing things normally? What is the pattern that's going on for me? And how do I now communicate what I'm truly feeling? Let me use those words as opposed to the words I was using when I was in that pattern this whole time.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny about that? Not funny, but ironic. Yeah. We often become our habits or the way we were taught. So
100%.
Sometimes it seems like, you know, when you saying like, do this, sometimes people are so stuck. Like, if I do something opposite than what I've learned to do, then I essentially am no longer myself. I got to learn. So it's so hard, not hard. It's hard to feel like one, like I said, what Kanye said, you're wrong. The way you were going about things is wrong because people often associate being right or wrong with their identity. Like, oh, what you mean? No. So it becomes more uncomfortable, and it's not overly broadcasted as much as other things, the need to have therapy or speak to people or be, like you said, vulnerable. Like that thing is new for a lot. Vulnerable, like being okay to be like, yeah, everything I was doing wasn't it.
Right.
You know, it's not it. You know, it's not it. And that's okay. What can I do? You know, I often see some of my students, they stumble because I'm like, oh, do this. It's different than what you've been doing. And if that don't work immediately, they go back to what that was.
Right.
You know, I'm like, yo, you might have to try 50,000 different things before you get to a point where, you know, and it's just like, nah, you bugging. I ain't wrong. I'm like, bro, you might be, and that's okay.
Well, the reason, how you get out of that mindset, if you feel like, okay, well, I'm scared to change because I'm so used to knowing this as me. My family raised me this way. This is all I know. Did it benefit them? How did it add to the quality of life? Look at your quality of life then do the math. Yeah. Is it really working? Am I really thriving? Sit with that. If your answer does not come up as absolutely yes, then there's something to work out and it must be figured out.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave y'all with this question. Do people nowadays believe in marriage and love? What is your opinion?
Yes.
They want to.
I feel like people do, but we were so conditioned to look at marriage with a negative connotation, if that makes sense.
And more so, I mean, because we're all millennials in here. More so the newer generation coming up and what they're seeing on social media and what's portrayed to them. Do you think they still believe in marriage or love, or do they think, oh, it's all about what they could benefit from someone else?
I feel like the newer generation, if I'm being honest, I don't know if they still believe in marriage because, like, I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it's a lot of, like, baby mama, baby father, like, the trend, like, that's all you see. You see more baby showers than you see weddings. So, like,
talk about it.
Yes, and I feel like even when I'm looking at younger children who just graduated high school, it seems like the first thing they go do is let me get pregnant and have a baby. And I'm like, damn, you don't want to go to college? Like, you don't want to strive to wait and see if you find a man to marry and things like that. So I don't think they really believe in marriage because I don't think they have too many examples of marriage. And then even if they do, it's like, well, no, if you get married, a woman going to take all your money. Because, you know, people who may have been in marriages with negative experiences from it that they may be portraying on younger children.
Can I just say something really strange? I think that answer is based on your algorithm. Not your answer, anyone's answer. Because who are we seeing predominantly on our algorithms in our social media dictates kind of how we are looking at
the
people and marriage. So, like, my content is very heavy in people who are trying to break generation curses, who are trying to get married, and who are having deeper discussions mixed in with the people we grew up with that are getting pregnant and, oh gosh, another baby shower and things like that. But I'm seeing my algorithm is playing with what I want or what I'm seeing or
and
what
age would you say is those people that you are seeing
that want to be married and healthier in our 30s?
Yeah.
Right. So, like, that's our generation.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And that's why I say, like, I don't see a lot of young people, so I'm like, I can't even answer that for you because everybody on
even
my
if it do be an algorithm like people you grew up with, like a lot of people I went to high school with, of course, a lot of them, not offense to them, but you know, a lot of them do have baby mom, baby fathers, that type of thing. And even if you go on TikTok, like I'm seeing girls fresh out of high school, younger, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby shower, and like I said, it's like, damn, like you don't want to go to college, you don't want to try to go like chase some goals first. It's like people make having children seem such the thing to do, and like I'm not gonna lie, even I fall into the baby fever sometimes, but I'm also thankful that I didn't have children so early on because I knew I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I knew I wanted more, and now that I'm grown, it's like that's not what I wanted all of this time. So
yeah, and even with that, there's a lack of commitment because a lot of these baby showers, we don't see the man there.
Right,
you don't see the Burberry shirt.
That's because women that's because another thing too. Women get to know the baby father during the pregnancy instead of before.
Yeah.
You meet each other, get pregnant. And then y'all start hating each other, and they leave before the baby even born.
Yeah,
like
and both parties, got to take full responsibility of that. Because when
I agree.
you off the Casamigos, it was it was a wild night. She said nothing to me. You say, "Oh, I say," you know what I'm saying?
Say less.
But I see it happening less and less. I don't know if it's just me.
Well,
I feel like people are waiting.
more.
waiting longer.
I've done seen like 50 baby showers, pregnancy reveals
Right.
within the past few months. I promise you, like a day.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm seeing baby showers too. I'm saying more so that people are waiting a little longer to have kids.
Like you said, our generation. I feel like
that might not be by choice though.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
also-
financial. Yeah,
Because there's gonna come a point where a lot of women or men just feel like, I'm gonna just take what I can get.
And
A lot of us
accessibility.
settle.
Yeah, money.
Honestly,
You got. It's easy to have a baby.
At this point, if I find somebody
It's not easy to
stable,
get
all I
married.
want is just a kid.
Right.
Like,
I agree though. I agree, but
And it just sucks because you made an amazing point earlier about like people thinking like there's so many options out here, and we, even with talking, because talking shit, I don't even believe in that, but we cut off people so many times that when we even get to the point of marriage, like I don't really want this no more.
yeah, it's how we put. I'm sorry.
70% of women initiate divorce.
I think because
That's
when
a
we
crazy-
go through breakups
Wild.
and stuff, we put
70%.
this strict expectation, like you said, on everybody. When it's like,
Right.
learn to love people for who they are. Stop trying to love people in your love language. You got to be this. You got to do this. It's so much pressure on people. Like love, I feel like is a choice. It's not about which you got to be this and do that. No, it's about like loving somebody for who they are and understanding we got to make how we are and work together, and not just you got to change for me and I got to. No, like you can't change people who grew up for so many years one way. You can't do that.
If your man was in the army, right, and you're serving the country, and
here he goes. Okay, folks.
and he came back with his arms blown off, you still love him, right? You
Yes,
still
I'm gonna love
find
him. If we
okay.
fell in love for the
That'd be
arms is
different.
going, baby, I'm gonna love you even more. Yes.
But hold on. He don't got no arms.
Yeah,
He don't got no arms.
But
yeah. He
Yeah,
jumped.
I
He
didn't
jumped
hear
on a
that part.
But
grenade
my
to
thing
put.
with that is,
I'm
maybe
not
he
even
quick to
about
leave
to
you
be-
for little
yeah.
stuff, but I would love him.
It sound good to say, yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna
definitely.
But
be there.
realistically, no, I'm not.
You gotta be in
I'm
that
gonna be there for my
situation.
man. Like we
no
got like
arms.
yes, like if we
Are we
built that.
married?
It depends, like how if we built
Are
that
we
genuine
married?
Why is that
love
the difference
connection,
maker?
and we.
It makes a difference.
I knew you
Why?
was like there for me from jump since we've been.
So if you was married, you feel like you forced to be there.
Be there for you, but
wouldn't
not
feel
in a
forced.
loving way.
As long as that works.
Because
I don't care
beauty
about the law.
fades.
You know
I
what's
understand
A lot of us don't
that
realize beauty fades.
It would just have to take a lot of Jesus.
I
Long
think
as-
It
it's
have to take a
time.
lot of
Long
church,
as-
and I would have to spiritually get into a place because no matter how you flip it, put it, that is hard.
Yeah.
But on the
You are
arms,
turning from a person's partner to a caretaker,
Exactly.
and you didn't sign up for that. So you have
You
to
did.
be mentally
There
and
you
go. Hire one.
spiritually
If you married,
You
strong,
did.
and
Do
you
better
can't
or
lie
worse.
to. I think earlier I had said I wouldn't date someone because
Accent.
if I didn't like right. Oh, y'all held on to
Yeah,
that
well,
one, didn't you?
yeah, we just-
You held on
Attentive
to
men
it.
remember. That's all.
You held on to it, but I'm
That's it.
saying I said the reason why is because I would want that person to feel loved by whomever is with them. Same in this situation. I wouldn't say for shallow reasons, but I want to be able to see you happy, regardless if it's me making you happy, but I don't want to be the one sitting around making you not happy or not love the
that's
way
real,
that you
yeah.
deserve to be without your arms.
Wow.
You deserve a woman that's going to love you without your arms.
But what do you make with if make you feel like you couldn't love or make a person happy? Because I feel like somebody not having arms, yeah, they might not be able to move around, but that's something.
But
so
your
like,
but
no.
your
You could get him a
responsibility
caretaker, like-
changes.
Like there's
You
no
can't
way.
cuddle.
the
You
third
can.
leg
He's
works,
the little
that's
spoon.
fine.
Wrap your arm around.
He's the
But that's
spoon.
the thing. You have to be. It's
I
not
got
even
that
about
leg
his
grip.
arms. It's about what you
Leg
have to
grip
be.
But what if he loved you so good, like,
And
the
if
best
he
you
loves me
ever
so
been
good, and I
loved
make the
and
choice to
treated
love
you
him
so
back
well, what
so
you gonna
good,
do?
then we're gonna work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just about whether or not the two people are making this choice. Because he could easily say, "Please let me go."
Yeah, that's
You know, I
different,
don't want to
though.
sit around watch you go through this transition, or she can say, "You know what? I'm gonna put in the work to like figure out how to make this work." But they both deserve people that are in that headspace.
So question,
want to
right?
be in it.
You married to him, right? And you do therapy. If in the first his arms are going. In that first couple of months, he's telling you, get out of here. You know, he's depressed. His whole body. I'm just saying.
I'm going to get out of there.
But that's what I'm saying. So as a therapist, right? Are
And y'all
you
married? You said you was
Wait,
married?
hold on.
Wow.
I'm getting to. I'm gonna finish.
No, what I'm saying
Let's
is
be
you're
like,
married to this person, right? In the space as a therapist, right? Do
I
you
should have never said
No,
that.
no. You're perfectly fine because I'm always in. It's never a judgment. I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know when like similar to I know a couple people when I worked in when I first started education I was working with physical and mentally disabled people. Some were born that way. Some life happened.
Right.
So imagine your arms blow off. They gone. You are depressed. I don't any person.
Facts,
so that's what I'm
facts,
saying.
yeah.
In that first couple of months, they're like, get out of here. You're gonna leave. He's down bad.
Here's why I
Gotcha.
said that. If you need the time to process what this really means. I'm not going to leave in a permanent sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
Realistically speaking,
Gotcha.
if this is, I'm going to ask you, is my absence what you need right now? And I'm also going to discuss the parameters around my absence. So it's going to be, I'm going to give you your time.
Gotcha.
I'm going to give you 4 weeks. If in those 4 weeks you still feel like my presence is no longer needed, not just to be your caretaker but as your woman, as your wife, then we can talk about it.
Gotcha.
Right? But yeah, like if that person is vehement, and it has to be some real throwing things.
Yeah. That volatile state.
Where ain't got no arms to throw things, kicking
wow.
things around the room, type of kicking me out.
Gotcha.
Then it really is cause for pause at that point.
Yeah. So let me ask both of y'all.
Who's both of y'all?
The 2 men in the room. Because y'all asking us women is different because we're nurturers. So naturally, we're gonna want to stay and work it out. So for you guys, so say your wife get in a car accident. She gotta lose all her limbs. She don't got no arms. She don't got no legs.
That's real.
She got a mouth though. Oh, sorry. Inappropriate.
Right.
Guys working on me.
And like, be for real. And if you are staying, are you being faithful? Are you like having that same commitment that you once had before the car accident? Like, are you being faithful to her? Are you treating her the same way? Or are you like just like, oh, I gotta carry her to the bathroom. I gotta carry her to the kitchen.
That is
like be for real.
That is some nasty word. Come here, babe.
As women, we can handle that. Like, we're nurturers. Like, that's in our blood.
Okay.
As men, are y'all able to do that same thing?
With my walk of faith,
and be for real.
With my walk of faith, I would have to. Mm-hmm. Despite how I feel.
Yeah, but do you want to?
It doesn't matter if I want to or not. I would have to. I would have to.
So let me throw out.
I would have to.
That brings resentment because now it's like, oh, I gotta do this. Like you feel obligated. Like, no, do you want to do it? Is it in your heart?
I mean, even so, if we switch the topic a little bit, even in a marriage, right? Women are obligated to give their man sex. No, like
who said that?
Right? Like what?
Who said that?
No, I feel you coming from because they said they had said I'm a God fearing.
No.
Obligated. No, literally obligated.
Who said that?
Open up your Bible.
Obligated.
So you're Muslim.
I'm not Muslim, but I do study. I'm a student of all. You should be able to be knowledgeable.
That's a Muslim name, brother.
No, this. Farod Muhammad was the word.
What is the word obligation meaning in this context? Because from what I'm understanding is we both have duties in the relationship from a biblical sense.
Right.
So if you're just leaning it towards the woman is obligated, what do you mean by that? Because should the man not also be obligated?
Oh, absolutely. Both parties.
Okay.
Both parties.
It wasn't an absence.
So let's right.
Thank you.
From what that's where my obligation
he's not marrying
comes
a man,
from,
so
right?
he only can speak from.
Yeah, so okay, now we can chat. Now we can continue press play because you had all of us looking like.
No, I understood where he's coming from, brother. No, I understand.
But despite how I feel, no matter what, I would have to stay because we made a covenant.
But what in your spiritual background makes you grounded in that decision? I think that's what.
When you get married, you know you're making a covenant before God.
Okay, and there we go, and that's that.
Yeah. Right. She don't got no arms, no legs.
As I said before, I reach back. I'm very gray. I would hope that I would be strong enough to depend on what the situation. No arms. I'm gonna be honest with you. Statistically speaking, like sometimes I shouldn't always live on that, but sometimes statistically, arms. They got prosthetics. We can work with that. But if she couldn't, like, if we didn't get married, if we were married and have a child and she couldn't conceive, she lost all her body, then that's a conversation I have to have with her. Because again, like you said, I don't want to grow up resenting her. I can love you and not have to be directly influential in your life. So if I'm not strong enough to, and I would want to be, but again, like it's not you or me, it's us. How can we figure this out? Yeah. So. Yep. Like you said, she can't touch me. She could probably go. It's so many, and it's crazy because you said that because I'm capable because I take care of my mother, so I'm capable of nurturing my mother. Like it's very different. You know what I'm saying? Because there's childlike, but they're not children. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to be like have to clean your mother, feed your mother, take your mother here. Have these conversations where she's So it's hard, but. One, I'm glad I'm walking this because it'll prepare me if ever need to be in another situation. Don't know if I would stay, but it very, very much would depend on how strong I am and how able I am for us to function. Because if we both not working, I'm mad, you depressed, it ain't working.
Yeah, I agree.
Quality of life, like quality of life. I want to put you in a space because I had to realize this too, like, because I grew up where you took care of your parents. But when I'm not able to because I don't know, and you still try, you fail them. Yep. So being able to say, you know what, I got to put you here because this is what's best for you. Not what's best for me, what's best for you. Because me taking care of you, as much as I love you, I'm doing it wrong.
That's good, yeah.
I'm failing you. You know, and I don't want to be in that position. So if she had no legs, we could work it out. No arms, especially now we got prosthetics. Man, we can have a time. Especially if, again, I love you. I feel like that as long as I'm, you know. Now I will say we gonna have a conversation, baby. We gotta figure out some. I can step out. It gotta be like. And I would hope I would find someone that'd be like, baby, listen, I'm gonna still marry you. You can step out. You could do this once. Figure something out where we're both getting. I would hope I was able to have that if she ever lost her legs, you know, her reproduction. You know what I'm saying? Of course, probability over
possibility. As the woman I am, if I lost everything, I'd probably like, go ahead and leave me. Just come visit me sometime.
But I don't want that.
Stay with me.
Make sure they put the cover over my neck.
Can we just say, God forbid that happens?
Like,
but nah, I'm not. I don't. I'm
That's
still a person,
hard.
and I still want a
That's
person
hard.
to be around me. Like, you ain't going. Where you going? It's not like you could run after me.
I got needs too. You can leave, but I got needs.
And the reason why I brought up that example is because in a lot of relationship circumstances change. When you met me, I was working out, and that's what you was attracted to. I had abs. I was eating healthy. 10 years later, I don't really want to go to the gym no more. It went from 5 days to 1 day. I'm starting to get pudgy.
Right.
You had our baby. You gained 20 pounds, and I don't find you as attractive anymore. So a lot of circumstances change in a relationship, and you know, that changes the attraction.
Like, even stuff like that, like gaining 20 pounds, something stuff like that is so like, because you could easily like help somebody lose that. You know
That's
what
if they want to.
That's if they want to.
No,
I agree,
but it takes
if they want
finding
to.
the person that
I've
has the right.
I've definitely been in
lifestyle.
relationships though
And
where
the
I
right
said
mindset.
like, next person got to be he can't be like a content or like comfortable person because I don't ever want to go back to like gaining weight and just being lazy and just falling into those traps. I need somebody who's constantly productive, who got a good balance.
Yeah. And never project onto your partner too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's so
'Cause I'm
crazy?
going to the gym.
Going to the gym now and eating properly now, my partner could not get me in those spaces. I was so not equally yoked with that person
That's
that
okay.
it didn't matter.
That wasn't your time.
I could be dying
okay.
and
That's your
sick and fat, and I still wouldn't follow what that person was telling me.
Wasn't your
Like,
time.
at
Now
all.
look at the journey you want. Go ahead,
And-
sweetheart.
Because
it's a beautiful journey.
He would go every morning
It's a
religiously,
listen.
and I'd be like, oh.
Yeah,
beautiful
I go
journey.
to gym. I'm
That's
just
a journey you have to
people
go through on
who
your own.
flex
Yeah.
sometimes, so
Yeah.
I need a good balance.
But it's also about finding the compatibility
Of
and
course.
the person that I felt like if he was more sure of himself, I would feel more led.
Yeah.
I would get up and say how high.
Yeah. But that comes with like men being sure, so knowing how to lead. Period. When you sure yourself, you can lead with confidence.
Yes.
Like everything can work smoothly compared to if you don't know. Now I'm sitting here like, what we doing? Like what
That
we doing
part.
next? Like
That part. Both
now
of
I'm
us can't be
frustrated because
anxious.
I'm frustrated because you don't know where we going. Now I want to go a certain place. You can't take me. It's hard.
It's
Or
a lack
leading
of-
for leadership's sake, not because it makes sense. I remember just getting into arguments where it's just be like, yo, I'm just telling you what to do because I'm telling you what to do. And it was like, but that doesn't make sense for the household.
Right.
You're just doing it because you want to feel like you're a man.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not making logical sense. So now I can't trust your decision making.
Right.
You want to know something though in a lot of relationships or even marriage to be, you know, specific. A lot of us are just winging it. A lot of men are just winging it.
Yeah.
Just about to say that. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
don't, like I said earlier, we don't have a source to pull from.
God
is
is
the
the
source
We're
to
just
pull
learning
from,
as we go.
You gotta know how to.
Absolutely.
God is literally the source to
He-
pull from, though.
Definitely, but you have to know how to. If you weren't given the tools, like you could go and sit in church and pray every day and still sin. You have to know how, and that has to be taught as part as, like you said, you also have to take that responsibility to say, I want to be, again, being wrong, I want to be taught.
Right.
You know, I don't know it. Let me go here and be open and vulnerable enough to be poured into and trust.
Right.
Men don't trust other men sometimes. Like,
Facts.
if you ever
Facts.
notice,
Or trust too much.
Or too
of the wrong.
listen. So we'll say an improper introduction to trust, period.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they trust too early, got your eye out here at your house, or you don't know how. But if you
That's
really
real.
look at it, a lot of black men don't have mentors.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you be like, wait a minute, who is older than you telling you yes, maybe, no, hey, you might want to do this. You start to look, you be like, oh, all y'all are the same age. Y'all all learning from the same pot, and it's looking like doo-doo.
But at the same time, too, you have to, as men and just having worked with men, you have to do the work by yourself. You have to also find your own self. I've been around guys that have latched their identities to their mentor. Everybody, it's like they're a chameleon. Now, one week you're Muslim because your mentor is Muslim, and then the next week, you know, you want to get into business. No, you have to sit with yourself and be alone. Don't date nobody.
Right.
Sit and figure out what works for you.
Yeah, a lot of men don't know what that looks like. I mean, even if we take example, a lot of men are locked up. Most black men are locked up. They're locked up for what? What charge?
Domestic violence.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So even when we come out, we're already told, like, no, you can't have this job. You can't work here. You can't be near kids.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, now I'm on probation. Now I'm on parole. I go back in. I come back out. Now I'm in a halfway house for a couple of weeks. There's no like, black man, come to therapy. We got a therapy thing for you. It's free for your charge. There's no, come to this trade school. It's free. Don't worry about it. Come here. This is housing for, you know what I'm saying? There's none of that. Where's the help?
Is there?
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it
we
is
can't afford
harder.
it.
Yeah, I feel like it is harder for black people to get the help.
We can, even that, a lot of us can't even get accepted that. We can't afford it.
It's about tapping into those resources and being there. It's there.
A lot of us
Do you ever
don't
see
know where
Loki?
to start.
I feel like it's
Do you watch Loki?
Yeah.
Remember the episode, right, where they was trying to... No, that's serious. Where they were trying to do all the time stream. So, yes, it's there, but you know what? It's so finite. Like, it's like, and again...
I agree.
I think there needs to be a platform where it's pushed more, because sometimes, even when we at the high school, they'll do college fairs, they'll do all this military.
Exactly,
but where is
bro.
the... like, we had a crisis. A young man died in our school. And the next day, it was a Friday, he passed away. Saturday, we got the message. We all knew, like, yo, it's going to be lit. He was well-liked. He was one of those students. So we need to be prepared. They sent 4 social workers, and none of those social workers could do anything.
Wow.
Right?
4 social workers. What do you mean? To do what?
All the students
like
who lost. Give therapy, yeah. So when I say they couldn't do anything, one, it's hard to counsel them when it just happened. So now they're in rage mode, right? So hands down, they came that day, couldn't do nothing. The young man he still passed away. He didn't come back.
So wait, did they hold? Okay, so
they hold. Yes,
they give a holding space where people could get off.
Yes.
And then why wasn't that sufficient?
Because the children weren't accustomed to it.
It's not. So there wasn't enough prep. There wasn't enough understanding what's happening.
It wasn't enough. Yeah, there definitely wasn't enough prep. He just died on Friday. Right. We came back on Monday, so I definitely get the prep. But also, that service wasn't something that they were it wasn't accustomed to them. For them, they're still in a space where who are you?
Why would I open up to you?
Again, I'm not saying they don't need it. What I'm saying is when you don't introduce something, you can say, yeah, they have it. Yes, they have it, because when they came, we was like, oh, y'all got this. So we know that they have it, but it's not as projected on them like academics, like sports, like you know. So it's like I'm just trying to figure out and confirm it. Like where can we really start to use our voice where we can have those spaces? And again, like you said, free of charge. Figure out how. I don't know. You say Medicaid, but then you apply. They be like, you make too much, and it's so tricky with that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm talking about individuals just coming out of prison and are like at zero. You know, that's
those students are at zero too.
In and out of jail. In and out of jail.
Those young students in high school
don't get the best of the therapist, so like they might
that is very
but you ain't about to guide you.
That is very true. There's a lot of gaps in things that I do. So when people come and talk to me who have just freshly gotten out of prison, they're like, "Can I come back and see you again?" Because the last 2 people I went to wasn't listening. It is hard.
Shout out to you for doing it. Real talk. Shout out to you.
There's a lot of incompetency. There's a lot of people that don't know how to find it. So yes, I agree. There needs to be a platform. Let's come up with something.
Essex. No. My fault. Irvington High School.
Let's make a business plan.
In the same urban areas.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that Section 8 affordable housing was just a scam for us to just keep us stagnant.
Oh, absolutely.
And it affects the public school.
People like, I can't make that much money.
But you want to know what's funny? They make it seem like it's a black problem.
Oh, no.
It's not a black problem.
Go to Lakewood. It's
not just a black problem. Guess who's on the most benefits in the country?
Lakewood.
White people.
Lakewood.
Yeah. And they don't even need it.
But
we are the minorities.
They describe their benefits and everything so much better, so you won't even know. Like they got food stamp offices with give you all types of better resources to us compared to us. You won't know when you go to the food stamp.
If you look around, what do black people give to the community? How do we give back? Look at all the stores surrounding, laundromats. Who owns those? Dry cleaners. Who owns those? Liquor stores. Who owns those? Grocery stores. Who owns those? What do we own?
Yeah.
We don't got no banks.
That's true.
I feel like,
We
but
have-
you know, it's all designed.
We
Like
do.
we
You
said,
about
'cause
to
we
get
try
into
to
a
keep
whole
them
nother
alone.
We have a
story.
big
Yeah,
five.
next
We trying to keep
episode.
them on for
Next episode. Next
Phi
episode.
Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated has its own credit union.
Word.
Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated has its own credit union.
All
If you
right.
would like to apply, go to the website blueprint.com.
And just like that, it's a wrap.
Yes, sir.
We are good.
Yeah.
First and
If I
foremost,
wasn't sweating, like,
Listen.
who told me to come in?